All right, here we go. Reveal number 788 is this 1955 Philadelphia roll. I do have the correct holders this time around, so we're not going to have any other issues. It looks like a nice clean roll. We'll just have to take a look through it and see. Let me get all these other tubes out of my way. Don't need a tube after it's been used. Some of them I clean up and reuse, and other ones I just throw them in a bucket. All right, here we go. 1955, Philadelphia. Coin number 1 to Sir Egg. Wow, nice earlier dice date here. For a 55, this is super clean. Very nice looking. Nothing to discover on the obverse. We do have a double die reverse to be watching for. So we'll flip over and take a look for that. Coins this early dice date are actually fun to look at. Got nothing on that one though. It is a normal, however, very nice looking 1955. Here we go. Mark Thomas coin number 2. Number 2 in this roll for Mark Thomas. Very late dice date, as is normal for 1955. And I don't see anything special on this one. Let's take a look at the reverse. Not a double die reverse. So we have a normal coin for number 2. Number 3 now, Paul Hampton. See what we have for Paul. Oh, these are pretty. For 1955, these are actually pretty excellent coins. 55 is usually kind of messed up. In this particular case, we're doing pretty well. On to number 4, Alex Swarbe. And nope, one of the later dice date examples. Got no doubling on the obverse. Let's check the reverse here. Nothing there. 2 coin number 5. Chubby Pop Chaser again. Let's see what we've got for CPC. My little initials acronym. I call him by when I'm sorting things, and well, that's what I put on his labels because Chubby Pop Chaser is too long to fit on the little labels I put in the flip inserts with these. So I just went to calling him CPC. If one of these were sent to PCGS, probably a 64 red brown, it would not be worthy of the cost of sending it to PCGS. The coins are nice by dice date, meaning that most coins have all of this feathering stuff showing up on them, on the outside edges of the letters, for 1955 especially. And when you get a 55 that has very clean outside edges to the lettering, it's kind of a scarcity. However, it doesn't up the grade of the coin, and PCGS does not grade, PCGS nor NGC nor any of the other grading services grade with the dice date in mind. So the dice date in and of itself doesn't make a coin worthy of encapsulation. There's an earlier dice date. This one's mid dice date here. You see just a little bit of fuzz on the outside edges of the lettering, but although the lettering still has relatively sharp outside edges. That's mid dice date. And toward the center of the design, everything's a lot sharper. Very seldom does an early dice date coin show up in rolls in 1955 Philadelphia. However, they do show up once in a while. The problem being all those grading services They don't incorporate the die state into grading. James Valley. This one is a late die state. This is beginning to develop that shadow doubling on the last 5, which we call poor man's doubling. You see how much loss of definition we have on the edges of the letters here. Got big cracks in the head. Very late die state. Coin 9, reverse. Nothing. Coin number 10 to Frosty. Frosty gets a pretty red coin. Well, some fingerprinting. That one is a very late die state as well. You see the definition loss that we have in the design on this coin. And the final reverse view. And we'll move on to... Oh, that was supposed to be coin number 9. Sorry, I got them backwards. It's not Frosty. That one goes to Sloppy Stacks. That one goes to Sloppy Stacks. Now, Frosty. Coin number 10. And Frosty will get a mid-die state coin. Mid-die state, meaning that we do have these little freckle marks going out toward the edge. You can see the feathering on the outside edge of the lettering. Although it's not very strong, and you do still have decent outside edge definition to the letters near the rim. No, late die state is not downgraded. They do not grade based on die state at all. It's all about surface preservation, eye appeal, marks, bag marks, and any other minor damage. It has nothing to do with die state. In fact, a later die state coin is more likely to create a cartwheel of shine, which could actually up the grade of the coin because of eye appeal. They are not good at taking into account the die state of coins when they're grading. It's another one of that same die. It's nearly a shattered die. Very late die state, very late in life. Hello, Alex. Now coin number 13. This one goes to Dan. Dan the man. It's got die crack, so I can tell you it is late die state. Late to very late die state here. This is very normal, very common for 1955 Lincoln cents. Little die cracks just about everywhere. Number 14 now to Sissy. Sissy gets one that is also late die state, cracked up. It's not all cracked up to what it's supposed to be there, because the cracks don't really add much of anything to this. The 55 experience is typically a very cracky one. Lots of die cracks. There's another one, very late die state. You got that doubling on the outside edge of the second 5. Very heavy loss of definition in the details on the coin. Oftentimes the L in Liberty is turned into basically a blob. All right, coin number 16, Jeff Dunn. Oop, is actually a 58. Okay, Jeff, you'll get this coin free. All you have to do is remind me. We'll get you credited for the next reveal you're in. Don't really know why there's a 58 coin and a 55 roll, but we'll take care of it. James Valley, another one that is just worn out. A little bit of a lamination peel going on there. But that's it for that. Coin number 18 now, Brad. I always look through these 55 rolls thinking there could be a chance that we find that really nice DDO number 2. This one's toned. The DDO number 2 is pretty scarce. They're very difficult to find. Nice bright red one will go for a couple of $100. Lamination peel, that's where the metal didn't stick to itself properly when they were folding it over, turning it into a bunch of layers of metal. That's what happens. It's kind of like pie crust, where you fold it over and roll it and fold it over and roll it and fold it over and roll it. That's how they get that alloy mixed all together properly. And sometimes there's something on the surface of that billet that they're flattening out that keeps little layers from sticking together. So they don't bond well. So when you use 35,000 tons of force to mint the coin, you have a tendency to split those apart. When those split apart, the laminated part peels off or flakes off of the coin, creating what we know as a lamination peel, or a delaminated coin. The difference between those being a lamination is simply a crack, just there. A lamination peel is a crack with some peeling backward of the piece that was laminated. And then we have a delamination, which is a bit of lamination where the piece is totally missing. So lamination peel is kind of the middle of those. The lamb being just a bunch of cracks showing up in the planchet. So I thought I had one there. And yeah, you can see it. Little cracks. There's no missing metal. No metal actually peeled back so that you could feel it. Then you have a lamination peel. Lamination peel actually has metal folded back on it, where you can see the spot where it came from plus the metal being peeled back. And then a delamination is that peeled back part is missing altogether, and all you have is the pit that used to be that lamination. Stanhorn. Another mid-die state here. Nice looking coin. But no doubling to get excited about. The unfortunate part. It's the unfortunate truth. Coin number 25. Now for Trip. And nothing there. Unfortunately, now halfway through the roll. Coin 26 now, starting first class. We're going to get through this roll, get finished with the 1955s, and then there will be a few hours of lapse. At 7 p.m., we'll be doing the new roll reveal show for this week. There will only be 2 rolls represented this week. One is a 1968D Fed Reserve wrapped roll, and the other is a 1970S original bankroll. Then at 8 p.m. after the show, another one's kind of messed up there. At 8 p.m. after the show, we'll be doing the other 2 reveals for 2 weeks ago. One is a 1945 Philadelphia, and the other is a 1946 D. Sold by the coin, Brad. The 1968 D will be $2.50 a coin. The 1970 S will be $3.50 a coin. Tomorrow evening, Tuesday at 7 p.m., we'll be having an auction here on the Copper Coins YouTube channel. And then Wednesday evening at 8 Eastern, 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central, we will be doing a mystery pull. Mystery pull at $2 per coin in lot increments of 5. You can get 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 like that. $2 per coin. We have a lot of fun with that. We've got bonuses, we've got extras, we've got the game. There's all kinds of things. This was from Mark. I don't remember if I flipped that down or not. Now coin number 31 for Stan. Not finding anything in this roll so far. Another nice mid-die state coin. Yep, that's right. 1968D has some nice RPMs, some double die obverses, and one very nice slam dunk double die reverse. Those reverses in nice red BU are $100 to $200 coins. Thank you, Brad. Appreciate that, sir. Frosty up next. See if we get any goodies. Nothing there. Number 34 coming up next. I should be getting a big box of coins today. That's going to affect my getting the list out, because I do plan on going through that box and including some of that stuff in the auction today. This is an earlier mid-die state, so you can see how much nicer the details look on an earlier mid-die state here. Nothing at all like those very late die states, which are very spongy and mushy looking. Frosty up next. Frosty will come off with a very late die state. A little struck through right there. Had something sitting on the surface of the die when the coin was struck. Next up, number 36, Sloppy Stacks. Another one of those earlier mid-die state coins. Just pretty. For 1955, you'll just have to understand that for 1955 Philadelphia, that's actually a above normal coin, above normal quality. That one's going to be a very late die state. Yep. Lot of feathering there. Bad stuff. Number 38 now. Good afternoon, Copper Owl Coins. Hope things are going well with you. I have another softie here. That one's for Brad. Next up, number 39, Chubby Pop Chaser again. And very late die state. A lot of heavy cracks on the obverse there. If you have more of those 1950s wheat cent rolls, random dates, I'm down. I'll see if I can get a couple of those stuck into the auction for tomorrow. I think I've got probably 2 or 3, maybe 4 rolls of them. Nothing there. Chad Bookman. 4 came back 66, 2 at MS 67. Oops. I have a phone call coming in I have to take. I've got to end this now. I'll see you guys. I'll come back. All right, sorry about that. Ready to keep moving now. We're on coin number 41. Let me get my lighting situated so that, let's see, what do we have? Sometimes we have an issue where lighting affects. Well, that should have done it. Let's see if this does it. Nope. How about this? Nope. How about this? Wow. Nothing seems to be enough. Okay. All right, I'm back in, ready to finish this. Got coin number 41. I'm afraid I forgot that I had a phone call coming in at 1:30. And boy, they called on time. All right, Jim, up next. Let's see what Jim has here. I've not found anything die variety related in this roll so far. So we'll just keep it up and see what we do here. Got nothing on that one. I know that we've dropped a lot of viewers during that break. I'm sorry about that. My apologies. I'm going to go ahead and finish this roll up anyway. That's the deal with these shows. Is they get interrupted by my father or my mother calling. And, well, my mother and my father are both very old, and they don't live together. So when either one of them calls, I've got a pretty serious case of diabetes, and so we're trying to get it under control. We're trying to get it to a point where it's basically not killing me anymore. And so those things are just a constant in my life, and there's just absolutely nothing I can do to ensure 100% that I get a complete and full show in without being interrupted in one way or another. I saw die crack between the 9 and 5 on that one. It is a late die state. Got a lot of skull cracking going on in this particular roll. That's for sure. This one was for Carl. Up to coin number 45 now. 45, Dan McCumber. See what we have for Dan. I can tell you already it's going to have a lot of die cracking. Yep. It is a mid to late die state. This one's a little bit earlier than some of the other ones that we've seen. But anyway, yeah, it's not very common that I can go an entire day without receiving phone calls of one type or another. And when I try to do these marathon show stints here where I'm doing basically 3 shows in a row, someone's going to call eventually. Here's coin number 47 now. This is for Chubby Pop Chaser. And nothing here. I always want to look, though. I always want to be sure that we look at these rolls and look at them closely, because we have the big double die, and then we've got the second double die, which is still very nice and quite rare. Then we've got a third double die, which is a class 6 that has a lot of extra thickness in the lettering. And then we've got a double die reverse with the class 6 extra lettering. And then who knows what else might be out there in 55 that just hasn't been noticed before that we could notice during one of our shows. So I'm not going to stop looking at 55s because our chances of finding something are slim. I'm going to keep looking because our chances are slim. And if we find something, it's going to be valuable. But nothing here. Now on to the very last coin in this roll and the end of the show, and I appreciate everyone who did stick around to the end. This one's for Paul. And we have an earlier die state here, early mid die state. But, again, like with all the other coins in this roll, we have not found any die varieties. So here we are, 1 through 50. In and out, nothing found. But we tried. I appreciate it, folks. Thank you very much for being here, and I appreciate you showing. And I'll see you next time. See you this evening at the reveal show at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Then after that, we'll have 2 more reveals. 45 Philadelphia and a 46 Denver. I'll see you then. Talk to you later.